this is Dr. Geetanjalipareek and today's topic is on psychopathology. Many times people just ask me, ma'am, please describe in detail about what is psychopathology and things like that. So my today's video is definitely on psychopathology. Now you must have, there was a famous psychiatrist, Thomas Sass, and he said it very rightly that why is it then we talk to God? It is called prayer, and when God talks back to us, it is called as schizophrenia. So we will just discuss about psychopathology and why this all these things happens. Fine. So psychopathology is derived from two words, psycho plus pathology. Psycho means the mind or the soul, and pathology means a disorder. So you can say so it's disorder of the mind. It's a study dealing with the disorders of the mind, or it's an abnormal psychology. And why people have this maladaptive behaviors. Now psychopathology deals with the causes, the treatments of the diseases, and what the line of action should be there. Fine. So like for each disease it might be different, anxiety might be different, depression might be understand this it might be different. So it's an in-depth study of all these disorders, or you can say to the mental health issues. Now just like the pathology we have in sciences, it deals with the causes, the underlying causes, the classification, how they progress, and the ultimate treatment. It is same way as with the psychopathology. Different definitions regarding the term psychopathology, one I can just tell you, you can just go to my blog and read all the other definitions like by the Butcher and Minica, and according to them psychological disorder is an ongoing dysfunctional pattern of thoughts, emotion and behavior that causes significant distress and that is considered deviant the person or the culture or the society in which the person lives. Now we'll talk about the historical perspectives of the deviant behavior. Fine, so it is not something psychological disorder you just feel so it is something very new and it's been talked about, but it is very old as such. And if you just go through the literature, you will find various people they have, and they have just been written about all these deviant behaviors. Even Bible describes that King Saul had mad ranges and terrors. And in the 18th century, Rousseau he developed marked paranoid symptoms in the later part of his life, and he was plagued by the feeling that they are frequent enemies and they just want to kill him. Even Mozart, he was convinced that he was being poisoned before he wrote his last requiem. Right. And Abraham Lincoln, he had bouts of depressions, and to the extent that on one of his occasions he did not went to his own wedding. And Winston Churchill, he also suffered from depression, which he termed as black dog. So and before he was being bedridden, and so he all these people they just had psychological disorders or the mental health issues, and it is not that it is just pumped up or it's a modern century thing as such. So as I was talking about the ancient Chinese and the Egyptians or the Hebrews, they felt that whatever mental disorders are, they are researched because of the evil spirits. Means to say the evil spirit has entered into the person's body, and it just wants to escape itself. So its the escape was in the form of disorders, and so mostly the treatment used to be it was called as trepanation, and in which the 2-inch hole was to be drilled in the person's brain, and so that the evil spirit could escape. So in either cases it used to solve the problem, and solve the problem in the sense the person used to die. So when there is no person alive, there is no problem as such. So what they used to say, they used to inject the animal blood into it, they might cut certain intestine by. So such horrible you can say so therapies was used during those old old ancient times as a cure which they felt for the psychological disorders. Medieval Europe also was very similar in the same way. They also felt that the person has been used to anyone who has a psychological disorders has been possessed by the evil spirits. And during 1484, whenever the Pope used to say that this person has been possessed, that person was being burnt alive. And and the justification that these people are witches and they can be prosecuted, it was very much justified, and there was very stress for that. For example, if the woman was said to be she is being possessed by some witches, so they used to tie her their hands and legs and throw her in the river. And during that process, if she just sinks down, and it was believed on this same premises that the impurities float on the surface of the water. So in case a person means to say dies, means to say sinks and dies, then it was thought that she was released of the witches and just she was a pure person, and everyone used to feel good about it. But in case she escaped that punishment or whatever it was, you can say so, and just floated, then she was in real danger. For the real danger was that then she was brought out and killed. So you can see so that how much and it was just estimated that around 16th and 17th century, around 1 lakh people were persecuted in the same way as they were declared as being possessed or they are witches, and so they were grounded and killed. So that is what the medieval Europe was also. So it was only in the 5th century BC, that was Hippocrates' time. It was only Hippocrates. He said that just like any other illnesses, these psychological disorders, or they were not termed psychological disorders, but mental issues or these inappropriate behavior patterns, they are just because of their physical health condition. So he said that as psychology affects your physical being, same way does physical beings also affects your psychological beings. He went to the and during that time melancholia, mania and phrenitis, they were very common. So he went ahead and explained all those things, that how they affect on the. Plato was again he argued that disorder should not be understood as means physical and physiological. He said it is psychical, and that whatever it is just in the mind. It's because of the problems in the mind. And it was only by the 1800s, Penal he came into being, and he just said that they should not be the people, they abnormal people, they should not be treated ill-treated. Means that they used to be changed, beaten up, or so they're also human beings, and he just asked them to prevent all this chaining and better in abusing, or to have better environmental conditions for them. And later on, with the development of sciences, etc., more and more people just gathered, and they found that it is just as any other illnesses. Psychological disorders also are also like that. So their biological approach was used to understand all these diseases. So it was only William Grisner. He was there, and he just came and he just said that it is not whatever psychopathologies and individual are. It is not because of of any other reason. They are because of the mental illnesses or the brain pathology. Means to say that the brain is in fact affected, and so is the person's behavior. So the many theories they came into being with the advancement in anatomy, physiology, neurology, chemistry, etc. So various, and I think Kraepelin was the first person to have or you can say the classification of the symptoms, and labeling and describing the different disorders or the psychological disorders, and putting them under different heads like depression, manias, and schizophrenia, etc. And thereafter the movement started, and various approaches they started, like we have is the psychoanalysis, and the psychodynamic theories were there, and it was mostly done by the Freud, and according to his psychoanalytical theory, whatever it is in the person's mind or the brain. And he said so various approaches was taken out to what we call it psychodynamic approaches were used to get the main reason or the causes behind the various illnesses. Later on, behaviorism came into being, and the behaviorism, according to them, it is that it's not always in the mind; it can be reflected through your behaviors also. And you can just so the various Wittner was there, William Wundt was there, and Pavlov is there, Watson is there. So they are and their operant conditionings and various classical conditionings from theories, etc. They came into that. Then we have is the cognitive approach, and here it's mostly the best name of this comes into is CBT in the form of cognitive behavioral therapies, etc. And he says that it is not about the persons, but the bias thinking or the negative thinking. They might also play the important role. Alice Rushton motor therapy also came into play. And then we have the biological approaches, and in this therapy, because there was a lot of advancement in physiology and neurosciences, so they said it's not always the brain parts or it is because of the neurotransmitters. There are around 50 and more neurotransmitters in your brain. So they say that the impairment or the functioning of this, there it leads to all these symptoms. So no, so you can say, so if I'm saying there are more than 100 types of neurotransmitters, so it could affect your thinking process. I'm sorry, it was not 50, but it was 100, more than 100. So if it affects you, then it's going to definitely affect your behavior pattern, any imbalances in your neurotransmitters, and could result in the various disorders.